What's up, everybody? It's Make It Make Sense. I have missed y'all, but literally, there was nothing going on with me. This is the first time in my life, and even in my corporate career, that I have taken off 7 days. Literally, that probably sounds crazy, but I have never done it, and I did it, and I don't regret it. But I definitely missed you guys. So, like the video as intro plays, we got a lot to discuss.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense to me intellectually.
Make it make sense. You know what was up.
Big moves. Surfer. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you see. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you see. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense.
Unblock me, and I'll give your grandma back her dentures. I said, unblock me, and I'll give your grandma back her dentures. You want the bitch to eat, right? Unblock me.
I told you.
That was not expected.
All right, we have some serious stuff to talk about, but because we did the intro, we'll do that at the end. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. I told y'all a month ago, the YouTube streets, how did I put it? I said the YouTube streets, a war was brewing. The war has already happened. A lot of you guys know about it. We're not addressing that today. And we're also not catching any strays. But yes, the YouTube war is in full effect. And the straight shooters, which is us, we're staying out of it. But it's out there, and we'll touch on it a little bit. I don't know if you guys have been following Allie Carter, but her mom has now come forward. So that's a whole new war that's brewing. People are responding. We'll talk about it, but let's get to the mess. Let's start with this mess. Never in my life have I heard of any bullshit like this. Also, there's new emojis. If you are a member, there are emojis that you can try out. I'll be uploading more. I wouldn't say editor. I don't know, tech guy did these. You guys can let me know if you like them in the chat. I see some of you guys using them already. Mine is definitely the Casamigos ones, and I am having a drink. Like the video as you guys come in, but yeah, I don't know what this is about.
Stand right in front of the congregation. Yeah, right in front of you. Don't touch that table.
I want to apologize to everybody in here because I am pregnant. I'm sorry, y'all. And I just hope that y'all all forgive me. And
you know how many of them people have been laying it low and spreading it wide? Mr. Ricky, Miss Bernice, all these people then laid it low and spread it wide. I have never heard of anybody having to go in front of a goddamn congregation and apologize because they're pregnant. Newsflash, we all got here some kind of way. I don't know.
well, pray for me.
Now, I don't know what kind of denomination this is. If you know, let me know. But this ain't how we're going to start 2025 off. I hope she gets away from this type of church where she has to. They should be embracing her. Yes, she does seem kind of young, but that's a conversation that the parents have with her. She's not required to apologize to a goddamn congregation of grown adults who've been effing since 1920. I don't know. Let's move on. Right. Beautiful Catastrophe said we're all products of unprotected sex. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so the baby daddy. Absolutely. Where is he? Why don't he have to apologize? Y'all, this woman says her man's kids can't eat at her house because her food is for her kids. She put listening to my boyfriend and his baby mama argue because I told her when she drop her child off, she needs to drop food off with her. The food I have in my refrigerator is for my children and household, and I won't be taken away from mine to feed somebody else's. Thoughts? I feel like her man, her baby daddy, her child's father, her husband, whoever the man is, whose daughter comes over, who's told she can't go in the refrigerator and eat the food, needs to leave her. In what world do you make your spouse, your husband, your boyfriend, your baby daddy's child rules that the other kids in the house don't have to follow? That is not the kind of person you want around your child. I think that the mom should use this as a good enough reason to say, if you want to spend time with your daughter, you need to spend it either at my house, at a park, someplace where your new girlfriend ain't. Because this is the type of stepmom that would definitely do something to the kid. And she did this and posted it because she thought it was cute. She looked like she'd been smoking Cool Filter Kings and drinking some malt liquor, if you ask me. The type of mom that go and get her hair and nails done, but won't feed the children. That's what it's giving. No wire hangers. Y'all, what the hell is this? Now, Gervonta has some issues. We know he then got caught up for abusing his girlfriend. What is this? Michael Jackson hairstyle. This is a weave. Now, I do wear weave as a costume. This man is turning this into his actual hairstyle, and he wants y'all to know it. Sarah, thank you so much for being a member for 7 months. Jersey Girl, Happy New Year, members in chat. Happy New Year. Jersey Girl has literally been here since the inception of the channel. Shout out to Jersey Girl. BB, thanks for becoming a member. And check out the new emojis. And if there's any emojis that I forgot that y'all think we need to have, definitely tell me. There was no way we were not going to have
Mustard on a beat, ho.
Now, it said where Jaguar right this she.
There was no way. That one was
Mustard on a beat, ho.
Now, it said where Jaguar right this she.
Let me see. That one was happening. Bryn Cap says, here's my problem. Why does the woman have to be ashamed? But what about the biological father? She didn't go to a sperm bank. What the hell? The only thing I could think of is maybe the biological father didn't go to their church. I don't know, but I definitely don't think that was right that that little girl had to do that. I thought it was trash. I don't know the denomination. I don't know if that's, normal practice, but I don't like it. Fly Girl, hey Mims, I'm happy to see you. I'm happy to be back. Like literally, I'm happy to be back. This was dope. I've been thinking about the direction of the channel, and we're going to be mixing in a lot of different things, a lot of different concepts, a lot of different things that I hope open my mind and open yours. I saw this. I never thought I'd be saying this, but shout out to All About the Tea for catching this. I want to hear your thoughts on this because it's not something that I think people talk about. This lady is on one of the Housewives shows, and she's like a boss. She worked at Netflix. She worked at all these things as like some VP or SVP. She's a boss. Everybody knows she's a boss. But this was her hiring practices, and I thought this was extremely interesting.
anyone who reflects my community or my friends or my circle. And so I decided, hell, focus group of one, team of one, I'm going to just hire myself again and again and again and again and again. If I want to increase the numbers of diversity, or especially Black women in tech, I'm going to do it myself. And so as I looked at the resumes that were not diverse candidates, I just started pulling from my group of friends, started pitching them. And I was like, girl, what you doing today? You like your job? You don't like your job. The first Black woman I hired, it was like, okay, great, fantastic. Oh, we didn't even know she existed. I was like, I know, I got her. And then the second one, it was like, okay. The third one, it was like everybody kind of paused. And then by the time the fourth one came along, I got the call, which was like, is there anything?
HR.
Yeah. Is there anything wrong with the candidates that we are sending you?
Oh, no.
And I was like, no, totally fine. They're like, well, it seems as if you're hiring a certain type of person. And I was like, yes, you are correct. And then they were like, well, is there any way that we can help to make sure that we're looking at a broad range of candidates so that you have a wider pool of people to hire? And I was like, did you tell homeboy down the hall that?
Mm-hmm.
Did you tell him that he shouldn't hire any more white men? Because I don't think so.
Right.
I walk into the room and...
Now, it's a strange concept, but when you really think about it, women in tech, women of color in tech are probably, maybe more recently, they are the norm, but there has to be people who start saying everybody doesn't have to look alike. The fact that she was at her level, was brave enough to bring in other people that look like her, I loved it. I'm all for inclusivity. And I don't know. Wow, that's ugly. I know so many people who hire their children. I know so many people who hire their frat brothers, their sorority sisters. I don't really see a problem with it. Oh, maybe you're not talking about that. Please stop loving Black people. Oh, you meant lumping in Black people with... No, I was specifically saying that I don't see a problem with people of color. I don't see a problem with Black people. I don't see a problem with anybody hiring who they feel is the best candidate. And I think it's strange when people say, well, I see a certain group of people being hired. I don't think that same conversation would be had if it were not a group of Black women who were leading a tech department at, like, say, Netflix. So I thought it was dope. But anyway, let's move on. I thought that was dope. Let's get into this Twitch stuff, y'all. Now, about we'll say a year ago, her initial interview was regarding his self-harm. There's certain words that you can't say. I won't. Now that Twitch is in this title, I'm pretty sure YouTube will put some type of disclaimer on talking about, self-harm. So just FYI. But it was all, the conversation that she was having was all about the self-harm.
To us, Daddy's in the stars. So we can go outside and talk to him whenever we want.
Well, what kind of questions are they asking you about what happened?
First off, they just ask, when is Daddy coming back? And that's a really hard one. And then it'll be like a couple weeks later, like, but does he come back when he's older? Like, when Daddy's older, he'll come back. But they are still children and still obviously want.
So that was the first one. Now she's writing a book, and the conversation has taken a turn.
Being a mom, outside of being a career woman, outside of writing a book, outside of this, like, who am I out? Who am I just existing right now? Our anniversary weekend was right before everything happened. And it's so interesting when I look back, because now there are little signs, but when we were in the moment, everything was beautiful. We had chose to go stay in Laguna Beach, and we chose that because Wesley was having
That's going to be the conversation that we're going to have. Just for you guys who don't know, I'm sure everybody pretty much has heard this. She is writing a book, and it is a topic of somebody who is her husband, who took his own life, and different people have different perceptions of what she's doing. So again, there's no right or wrong answers in the chat. However you feel is however you feel. And this is going to be a sensitive topic.
Soccer tournament out there, and we wanted to go see her, and everything was blissful, and we were watching the soccer games and eating room service and going to have drinks together and going to museums. We bought a sculpture together, and everything was great. We drove there, and then we drove home, and I had no clue. And I think that's the confusion that I've always been left with, because I'm not going to have closure, my kids aren't going to have closure, because it's very confusing when you think everything's wonderful. But then then you look back and you're like, oh, maybe that was a sign. But that's also still something I'm still trying to process and understand myself, which is why therapy is wonderful. But for real, it's interesting, because there were no signs at that moment for me. I didn't know. And even the days coming home, I remember when we got home, we made a dance video. There was a dance video that he actually wanted to do. We wanted to do it every Sunday or every Monday before Christmas as a family.
The signs she's talking about are drug addiction.
And we did it. It was so strong, but I wanted to be your Superman, or I wish I could be yours. But I'm also really proud of her for sticking out, but I know she can see it for both sides.
So now that her memoir is coming out, everything about the memoir is about the drugs and what he was hiding. And being that I work now in, I guess, this industry and media to some degree, you kind of know what the lead-in is going to be. So yes, it's her memoir, her story, her husband, but the lead-in for just about every news article is what he was hiding and alleged drug addiction from him. So when we listen to her speak, I always say, let's use both halves of our brain. Maybe she needs the money, but at the same time, we all know that the lead is going to be the drug addiction. So it just depends on how you feel about that. If you feel like it's exploitive, or if you feel like it's necessary for her to feed her children. I don't technically know what she does for a living. I don't know if she was like a stay-at-home mom or had more of a regular job, and he had the job that was high paying since he worked for Ellen and was an influencer. I don't know. That nobody's saying in the articles.
I would think about my husband at the time. I would think, oh, I love that Twitch is such a great performer, but then when he comes home, he feels safe enough to be Steven. Twitch was extremely extroverted. Steven was introverted. Twitch loved to be the light in everyone's lives, and then Steven liked to hide away. Those are two different personalities that were battling each other any given day. And we would talk about that in interviews, that he very much admitted that was going on. And I think as I was with him for so long, and that's how he's been the entire relationship, I was like, it's a beautiful thing that he can be both. But then when you start stepping away from the new fact of what's happened, I look at that, I was like, wait, what if I would have made him feel safe, or with therapy, he could have felt safe to be him all the time? And what if he felt safe being this one individual that has different kind of energies, but you don't have to be a completely different person and put them aside from each other? I wish in that part of my life with him that he would have felt comfortable asking for help, wanting to go to therapy, wanting to talk to his friends or loved ones, or learning how much I'm learning that what he experienced, I want to be an example of now and show other people they can do it. I had dealt with an ex that had addiction problems, and then I realized Steven had addiction problems, and it's something that I kind of have been like, where was I involved in this? And I had to take some steps for myself to realize, like, I was able to help one, and I wish I could have been that for the other. But it's also not my job to do that. There was a moment I was with one of my really dear friends, and we were cleaning out the closet and picking out an outfit for him for the funeral.
If there are any therapists in the chat, I'm split on that. If somebody if somebody's in my family, like my immediate family, and they had a drug problem, I don't know. I don't know if it would be my job, but I would probably do whatever I could, as long as I could, to try to help them. Is that comment that she made, I realized it wasn't my job. Is that something that you would learn in therapy, like a technique or a tool, if you are around somebody who might be a drug addict? And we're not there yet on his family coming out and calling her a liar. I'm just saying, for the purpose of this interview, is that a tool that therapists use? Because that was a little bit like jarring for me to hear.
And it was a really triggering moment for me because there was a lot of things I discovered in our closet that I did not know existed. And it was very alarming to me to learn that there was so much happening that I had no clue. So it was a really scary moment in my life to figure that out. But it also helped me process that he was going through so much and he was hiding so much. And there must have been a lot of shame in that. And he was wrestling with a lot inside himself, and he was trying to self-medicate and cope with all those feelings because he didn't want to put it on anyone, because he loved everyone so much. He didn't want other people to take on his pain. But it was very alarming and scary to find those things and have never known. I had been trying to release all this anger this whole time. And I thought for a moment I thought if you would have asked me 6 months ago, I thought I'd released all the anger out towards Stephen.
This music in the background is let me not say that word. I don't like the music in the background.
And I'm now learning that you're always going to have triggers. There's always going to be a moment when I get really sad or really angry or have a new thing I find out and get really confused, or like I said, like an aha moment of like, oh, how did I not know that before? And then I realized that's all a part of healing. And it's about creating tools that are healthy enough for you to get through those triggers. And that's where I'm at now, is I'm trying to make sure, even if I hit a low, if I hit something really hard, I just can channel it and realize it and fix it.
Ooh. Nell said you didn't have a clue because you were too busy entertaining your new boyfriend. You can't tell me she just started seeing that man. Keisha says, I believe her. Why does the public need to know this? Okay, so y'all are split. I can clearly hear the music in the background, and it sounds like an infomercial. I don't like it. Callie says her energy level gives I don't care about him. Ugh. Happy says she's married to the man. Miss the General says that was her husband, so she should have been there. This is what happens when you marry without common interest. Some people said it was marrying for money. Yasmin 91, Happy New Year, missed you, Mims, missed you too. Butterfly Mama says old school churches did this back in the day. All sons were confessed in front of the church for affairs, fraud, and pregnancy. What about the preachers? Did they have to confess in front of the church too? Because some of them know that them hoes ain't loyal, i.e., what's that man's name? Jamal?
Me, but I gotta tell you, these hoes ain't loyal.
Y'all think he confessed?
Me, but I gotta tell you, these hoes ain't loyal.
Miss Carmen says she can tell the story, but to tell the world that he wrote in his private diary about possibly being essayed as a minor is a violation. Share that part with the family, not the world. Yeah, we haven't even gotten to that part, but I agree with you, Miss Carmen or Mrs. Carmen. And Ray Ray says, Mims, I missed you so much. Yay, I made the live. Yay, Ray Ray. And definitely, guys, check out if you're just coming in, there's some new emojis I've been uploading. If there's some emojis that you think some more that we should upload, definitely let me know. But I see you guys using them. I can't fully see on StreamYard, but when I'm on my phone, I can see you guys enjoying them. If you don't know how to get to the emojis, you just press the like the smile emoji, and the one specific to members should pop up first. So like y'all know, Countess Vaughn is one of my favorite people. So I have some of her, Wendy falling over her chair, Megan, Nene. Check them out. Okay. And we got we have like almost 2,500 in the chat. Definitely hit the like button. I appreciate you guys for meeting me back here tonight. Do you not hear this infomercial music and these? It's an interview about self-harm, and they have her looking like she's selling Claritin. Do y'all not see this? Like, I'm waiting for Sarah McLachlan to just start playing in the background. I don't know what the infomercial music is about.
One of my really good friends, she was over at my home right after everything had happened with Steven. And she told me I should document everything. And I was like, why would I document everything? She goes, it's going to be important for you to share your story one day. And so from that moment on, I just randomly would like jot notes in my phone.
Now, journaling after something like that type of unaliving definitely makes sense to me.
Or even though I'd be crying and I'd be so sad, but I was like, this might be important one day, or even to share it with my kids one day, the experience that we went through, because my youngers, they might not remember certain details and things. So I started jotting things down, but it is.
My mom doesn't watch this channel. I want to show you guys what I bought her. Like, I've been traveling a lot, but I want to show you guys what I bought her. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I started reading this book. I might do another giveaway from the members. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. But I bought this for my mom. It's only like $10 at Barnes and Nobles, but it's called A Mother's Life. I Want to Know Everything About You. I think it's a really dope book to give to moms, where they literally journal stuff that you would not know about them. And it's a pretty big book, but I think everybody is not going to be here forever. And there's a lot of stuff that I would love to know about my grandmother and wish that this book had been around. So it's not a bad idea if you want to know more about your mom or your dad or a grandparent. It seems pretty dope. So I'm giving it to my mom. It's called A Mother's Life. I Want to Know Everything About You. Yeah, they do have one for fathers. They definitely have one for fathers and, both grandparents and stuff like that. So check it out. Now she's been wanting to write a book. Y'all, okay. Here we go.
Interesting when you're on this healing journey, and the journey that I've been on is things were being discovered or new things, or I was having new aha moments. So I would be writing this book and then have to be like, wait, go back. This is different for me now. Or I just realized this for the first time. And it was kind of like therapy for me. And I looked at myself all the time in the mirror. I was like, wow, like I'm feeling better, but then things are also getting harder with it. So it was just a constant battle with myself. But
let's skip.
But I've also recently learned I can't do it alone. They find out from somewhere they feel safe, which keep moving forward, and it was such a beautiful time. But then the story.
Okay, we're not gonna go through the whole thing, but yes, him being an SA survivor was mentioned in the book. Then all hell broke loose. Everybody started coming forward who knew him or was related to him, and it was swift. Let's start here. Courtney Platt said, anyone who knows me knows I go straight to the source during a conflict and handle my business. But since there's clearly no shame in being so public, I haven't said a word in 2 years, but here I go. I was there the moment you both connected. I was there the day you got engaged. I stood by your side on your wedding day. I was in your home the day he died. I was by your side because your husband was my family. It didn't matter how often we spoke, how often we saw each other. We were bonded forever. This is by far the most tacky, classless, opportunistic act I have ever seen in my entire life. It started off nice. We all had to sign some weird NDA to attend his funeral, even his own mother, who you've treated like garbage this entire time. And let's just remember, you wouldn't have even had a husband if it wasn't for her. Not to share anything or ruin his name as if that was on anyone's mind in the first place. And here you go and write a book with all the dirty laundry smearing his name and attempting to dim the bright, loyal, loving light that was your husband and my friend. Now let's get to the NDA. So I was having a conversation with another YouTuber regarding this, and that YouTuber felt like it is what it is. To take one's own life is a selfish act. She has these children that she has to think about and make money for. And I said, the NDA at the funeral would be indicative of somebody who is very secretive. Like, if you're willing to write a tell-all memoir, you're not secretive. So what would be the point of making even his mama sign an NDA at the funeral? And the phone just got silent. I mean, people are going to be on both sides of the fence with this one because, you know, I lost a friend to that type of self-harm when I was in my 20s. And now I feel like you never really know what somebody's going through, but for their parents and their spouse and everything, it can feel like a selfish act. But I wish somebody would try to make my mama sign an NDA at my funeral. That would be a problem. The mama, what would the mom be doing with the information from the funeral? Do you think that the mom would be going to some magazine to sell a picture of the casket? What reasoning would you have to believe that the mama, who the most difficult thing in anybody's life is to be a parent that loses a child? I feel like if she had been a part of a different type of family, they probably would have beat her ass. If you try to make somebody's mama sign an NDA at their child's funeral, I feel like you might get your ass beat. BB says, let me see. You have people and his family saying she's the cause. I would be the same. Who knows? She knows her better than we do. I don't know. The mama thing was a bit much. Like, he's in the media and people do exploit celebrities. So maybe I could understand certain friends who might sell people out. Like, I'm not going to lie. Wendy Williams' brother, I feel sometimes can be problematic, always reporting on Wendy, even at the time when Wendy was still, you know, up and about. She didn't like that. He would be talking about her and talking about family secrets and stuff like that. I could see somebody making Tommy sign something at a funeral, but the mama, that didn't sit right with me. My mom would probably fight. I'm not even going to lie. My mom might be a little bit older now, but she's still scrappy and she might fight. Tokyo. You are absolutely right. Touche. Tokyo Tony is somebody's mama, but Tokyo Tony would probably be a good candidate to be signing an NDA. You're right. I'm sorry. I forgot the world we were living in. I absolutely forgot the world we are living in. Let me here we go. Let me use the emojis. I wish we had enough space for I stand corrected. Guys, we have almost 3,000 in the chat. Definitely hit the like button. Welcome in if you're just coming in. We now have like emoji. Yes. Tokyo Tony might need to sign an NDA. Yes, absolutely. Y'all are messy. Sorry, let me get back. Let me see. Whether any of it is true or not is actually beside the point. This is how you protect the boss name you so quickly dropped on your social media platforms 48 hours after he passed. Now, I don't know technically what being somebody's spouse is and what you kind of have to go through mentally to get over somebody unaliving themselves, but just from an outside perspective, dropping their name 2 days after they're gone. I would think that you would keep the name just for appearances, at least for the kids' sake. I don't know. You dropped on your social media platforms 48 hours after he passed. His legacy. This is how you protect his children from any further humiliation, hurt, and despair. This is what you want them to remember about him. You have moved on. You're living your life. You're on every carpet you can get on. Damn. You're living your life. You're on every carpet you can get on, every celebrity row you can sit in, every magazine you can be in, and you needed to do this. Get a journal, a therapist, a friend. But publishing a book, shamelessly sharing the pages of your husband's journal, People magazine, what a joke. Yes, he took his own life, which was a fact all of us still can't fathom, and he was clearly having mental health issues, hurting so deeply. And this is your example of empathy, your love. This smear campaign for a buck is absolutely not what he would have ever wanted, no matter how bad he was hurting, not for a second. You're a living, breathing bulldozer. Stick to your own demons. Shame on you, Allison. Shame on your money-hungry team. Let my friend rest in peace, not your PR. Goddess said Tokyo had a baby, but she ain't nobody's mama. Y'all, that was the nice one. That was the nice one. Manny Cross said, if you love Twitch, screenshot this and post it on your page, your story everywhere. This ends today. Dear Allison, you have lied for the last time on my brother. He was absolutely no addict. You will say and do anything for $1. An addict, you are the only one that was messing with Coke, Molly, and X. Jesus. Why am I using the emojis? Why am I taking the time to use the emojis? And look at Allison Jordan, Drew Sidora's mom, liking the post. I mean, Drew Sidora's sister liking the post. Sorry, that's the Casamigos. Okay. An addict. You were the only one that was messing with Coke, Molly, and X. I have all the proof. Play with somebody safe. Country boy right here. I don't give a F. Every person who knew him always knows you're lying and have been doing dirty crap for a long time. Should I post our last conversation? Try me. You have no idea what I have to post. Here's a few questions I have for you, though. Why did you make his mom sign an NDA to see her son's body? Why did his closest friends and family have to sign an NDA to attend his funeral? Why did you lie at the funeral about how every day was magical? It wasn't. He told me everything. You had to try and demonize Nelson, and now I see why. You demonize anyone in his life that found out the truth about you. You will say his friends aren't his friends. You will discredit anyone that knows the truth. You're a toxic woman, and I truly believe he would still be alive had he not been married to you. Now that, the X and the Molly stuff, okay. That line, that's a tough one. My only regret is telling him to work on it with you for the sake of the kids. When he talked to me about leaving you, I just didn't know the full truth. Just like everyone that supports you, we were both in the same situation, married to toxic narcissists that love black men as a fetish, that will lie and cry wolf and twist narratives and so-called evidence to be a victim and make $1. We didn't have our dads the way we wanted, so we preserved through the bullshit to be the best fathers we could. Today is the last day you do this. So he then told us his business too. This took a turn. I was contacted about a TV show last year, and after sending their condolences about me losing Steven, guess what the producer said about you? The same thing all of them say about you. You're a money-hungry, lying narcissist that will play victim and say and do anything for $1. Last question. Wasn't it your pow that was used? Keep playing with my brother's name. This is the year of truth. I have said from the jump, I never liked how she moved after his death. It just rubbed me wrong. I want to hear in the chat. Let's see. How do we do this? Put a 1 if you feel like she had a right to do this interview. Put a 2 if you agree with the brother that something's not right about it. So 1 if you agree with her, 2 if you agree with the family. We're not even done. J. Chris Moore. Due to the recent selfish acts of a certain horrible piece of trash human being who only wants to use my best friend's memory to benefit herself and her stupid ass book she's selling, I think, and it says Katie Paulson shares some blah, blah, blah memories of Steven and open it to anyone who wants to hop in and share. We will not let this self-centered troglodyte control the narrative and try to do anything other than shine light and love on his memory. If you want to hop on the live, respond to the story, and I'll let you know when I'm going to go live. Let's remind the world how amazing he was. Keep resting in paradise, brother. Don't mind the lies and ignorance down here. I don't know. Let me see. It won't stop, and I don't think you guys can hear it. Let me stop the screen.
I ain't gonna let anybody put out the light that you shined on everybody that you came to. We coming for you. You ain't about to taint my brother's legacy. You ain't about to change all the good that he brought to this world with your lies and manipulation. Allison, you ain't gonna do this shit.
If any of her social friends need somewhere to go, you are always welcome at our home. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Let me stop sharing. Okay. Dark Knight says, if you truly loved your late husband, our Stephen Laurel boss, even if there were challenges with his family, basic decency and compassion would compel you to show respect, especially if you claim he was fighting an addiction you didn't even know about while he was alive. Wouldn't love call for concern? Oh, I hate when it does this. Wouldn't love call for concern and communication with his family rather than airing out all of the magazine? What's the real motive here? Awareness or attention? Steven isn't here to defend himself, yet his name continues to be dragged through the mud. Love doesn't look like this, but manipulation and marketing for personal gain does.
A manipulator. That's what you're telling me.
Stick to your own demons. Then they added her. Is your book that boring and dry? Steven's legacy deserves better, but you know that. You may read this and think I'm just some internet troll, but he was my friend, so I plan to purchase a few copies of your highly anticipated fictional novel. Apparently, it's a bad blizzard ahead, and I'm going to need something to burn to keep my living room toasty. Lifting you and your family up. Whoa. We're not done yet.
Just have to say something. You know, I feel like somebody from Steven's natural family should say something. And the last time that I recorded I pretty much was talking about the NDA, non-disclosure agreement, and how we were asked to sign it in order to see Stephen or memorialize him at his funeral. And I'll be honest, I'm not a celebrity. It was very difficult to navigate the whole concept of having to sign a piece of paper in order to see my cousin, whom I loved and valued. And so that was very difficult. But the entire time that we were asked to sign that NDA, the rhetoric was that we were doing so to protect his legacy. And as I stand today and I hear what's in the news and I see what's going on today, I refuse to believe that NDA, the reasons why we were asked to sign the NDA had any merit, because there's nothing that happened today that was meant to protect his legacy. And, sadly, it's just a time where we're having to peel back the layers and see just a tidbit of what Stephen had to endure. And being that none of us, the family, for a person to be married to somebody that committed suicide, and then that person supposedly find a shoebox, disclose the contents of the shoebox with the entire world, then read that your loving husband's journal, private personal journal, and then share the contents of that with the world, it's very difficult to believe that you have any interest in protecting his legacy. And you have kids. You're always talking about how you're so concerned with how the family moves and the things that is being said on our personal pages. But you can go straight to the source and find out that you're delivering contents of shoe boxes. So let me ask the question, who stands to gain from this? Is it the world or is it you? Because nobody benefits from you supposedly dropping dimes about your late husband. Honestly, that's the weirdest energy. It's weird. We all know that knew Stephen, that loved him. When he died, we all showed him honor. We've all showed him appreciation. We've given him tributes. We've given him posts. You can carry on the charade with the public world, but we know exactly who you are. We see you. We dialed you up. And at the end of the day, you can act like however you want to act. You can be as Hollywood as you want to be, but you still got to live with yourself. Do you like what you see in the mirror? A liar, a narcissist? For what? You leverage Stephen's death to elevate yourself. It's sad. It's sad, and I just know it needs to be said, and I don't know who's gonna say it. I don't know, but it's me. It's me, and Stephen was somebody. He was great. He was remarkable. He was talented. He was gifted. He was nurturing. He was respectful. He was mindful. And I know 100% that if the shoe was on the other foot, he wouldn't be revealing the contents of your shoebox with the world. And your journal would be intact with him, because
the journal is some nasty work. I feel like if he never actually came forward to the world and said that I've been sexually assaulted, I don't think that it's your right, the wife's right, to make that public. I don't know. That one, I don't know.
He'd have respect and honor for who you were. Much better than I can say for you.
Allison has come out and I'm guessing in conjunction with her PR team responded. She says, to the fans of Stephen and our family and friends, I want to be clear that my only intention in writing the book is to share my own story as well as part of my life with Stephen to help other people. What did his essay have to do with your life? You read about it in his journal. Just like you, I never really knew what happened. And even if I am trying to put the pieces together, I will never really know. If you decide to read the book, hopefully you'll see my intention is to celebrate the love and life I shared with Stephen and our 3 beautiful children, and also the more complex aspects of both of our lives. I hope that by sharing our full story, maybe I can help someone else who might see themselves or a loved one in Stephen. In sharing, I hope that they can catch some. Okay, so maybe her PR did not write this. Let me try that again. I hope that by sharing our full story, maybe I can help someone else who might see themselves or a loved one in Stephen. In sharing, I hope that maybe they can catch some of the red flags that I missed before it's too late. Over the course of the last 2 years, I've spoken in detail with NAMI, as well as the Solomon family and the Defensive Line Foundation to better educate myself on mental health issues so that I can share warning signs with others. Now, that is interesting because Drew Sidora's sister is a part of that organization, and she liked one of these people's posts, which would be in stark contrast to her saying the organizations that she works with that feel she's making the right move. So I'll ask Allison about that. Allison Jordan, Drew Sidora's sister. She's really big on mental health and being a mental health advocate. I'm going to see if NAMI actually did tell her that this was, something to proceed forward with. All of the proceeds from this book are going to fund the mental health focused foundation I started in Stephen's honor, Move with Kindness. My hope is that we don't need to lose another husband, brother, father, or friend to unaliving themselves. I believe that if Stephen were able to choose, he would choose to have his story told if it meant saving even one life. Much love to all those who've supported our family these many years. So do you guys believe that none of the proceeds will be going directly to her or the daughters? I feel like if you're going to write this kind of book, the proceeds should go to the children, college funds, and things of that nature. Let me see. She can tell us. Let me see. Okay. Tamara Lee says, we didn't need to know he was an addict, especially in a way that is monetized. She should have talked to a foundation that helps addicts if she really cared. Bryn Cap says, in my opinion, having people sign an NDA screams somebody wants to control the story and how you want to tell the story uncontested. I wonder why. Dejanelle says, we only 8 days into 2025. You are right, Dejanelle. You are absolutely right. And thank you for the generous super chat. Empress says, Mims, you can't have me out here worried about you. Okay, on another note, his autopsy and our toxicology said he had no drugs or alcohol in his system. So I'm confused with her statements. Shoebox statement is sus. Yes. So the autopsy report revealed that there was no drugs in this man's system. To hear her speak, he was a drug addict. So that is in stark contrast. Could drugs be out of the system? True, but I don't even know. I don't even know. I was really taken aback by this entire story, to be honest with you guys. I was definitely taken aback. Let me see. I don't want to get to the wildfires yet. How long do drugs stay in the body? It depends on the drugs. Hair Therapy says Richard Pryor's wife came out and told us he was gay after he died. You keep messing with them other. And Jay Reed, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate you. Okay, so let's get to Wendy. So Charlemagne gives positive update on Wendy Williams amid health concerns. Charlemagne the God is reviewed and claims that his former mentor and longtime friend Wendy Williams is incapacitated amid reports of her decline in health. During the Breakfast Club episode, the radio personality offered a glimmer of hope for the former talk show queen, noting that the pair reconnected over the holiday season. He said, I spoke to Wendy over the holidays. She seemed perfectly fine to me, the co-host shared, adding, Wendy sounds like she can do radio tomorrow if she wanted to. I don't know what incapacitated means in regard to dementia or whatever they said that she was dealing with, but no, ain't nothing incapacitated about Wendy Williams. The cultural commentator's remarks come after reports from last year painted a much bleaker image of Williams' health. Legal documents obtained by People described her as cognitively impaired, permanently disabled, and legally incapacitated. When asked about her energy during the call, he assured co-host DJ Envy and Jess Hilarious, she sounded like Wendy Williams. I'm trying to tell you, she didn't skip a beat. Charlemagne revealed that Williams even called him out for not sounding excited enough during their conversation and joked about his phone slipping into recording mode. She's perfectly normal, he added, dismissing rumors about her inability to function. Williams recently made 2 rare public sightings in December. On December 15th, blogger Antoine Edwards shared a clip of Williams outside a seafood restaurant in Fort Lauderdale, smiling and greeting employees with her signature catchphrase, how you doing? Days later, on December 19th, she appeared at her son Kevin's graduation. So, I mean, we have seen Wendy. She was crying at Kevin's graduation. We've seen her on her scooter. Do you think that Charlemagne is right? Like, could she jump back into radio? I don't know. I think Wendy needs to be out of the spotlight, but with her family, healing, and getting off alcohol. Just my opinion. I would love to hear what she has to say about Diddy and Jay-Z, but I feel like getting her to a happy, healthy space and then giving her, some normalcy and then maybe seeing if she has the capacity to do radio. But it is reassuring to hear Charlemagne say she sounded like herself, and he would know. They were shock jocks together. Let's move on to the desperate ass Trey Songz. Every time I talk about Trey Songz, somebody gets mad. I don't really care at this point. I said he was broke. His fans said I was hating. It is what it is. He is now telling the judge, Trey Songz plead with judge to toss his $11 million judgment over alleged battery. Says it will ruin him. Trey Songz, alleged assault victim, demanded the singer's plea to throw out an $11 million default judgment be shut down. According to court documents, Trey 40 asked the judgment be set aside in the battery lawsuit filed by a man named Tyrell Dunn. In his lawsuit, Tyrell, who's a Maryland Capitol Police officer, said the musician and his security guards injured him when he tried to save his wife from Trey's hotel room in 2021. Tyrell said the incident went down at the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas. Now, the Cosmopolitan, I stayed there one time. Literally, you can be in the shower and open up this like little window and then people can watch you shower. I went to the Cosmo for, it was like a work convention. And I was shocked that they put us up in such a nice hotel. I had never seen a hotel where you could open a curtain so people could watch you shower from the actual bedroom of the hotel room. So when they said Trey Songz is in that particular hotel, I was like, I could see it. With somebody's wife. Yeah, like watch you shower, like you open I don't know, it's like this partition or something that you can open and anybody in the room would then be able to see you while you shower. That's the Cosmopolitan. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Tyrell said the incident went down at the Cosmopolitan Hotel. Tyrell's wife was escorted by defendant security personnel to room 6014, where she was told she would meet Trey Songz. That while in room 6014, plaintiff's wife was assaulted, tried to leave, and had her phone taken away. Every time I hear about somebody saying that their phone is taken away around Trey Songz, it makes me think about Kiki having to hide in the closet while Trey was trying to force her to be in a music video. Kind of weird. In court, Tyrell claimed he located Trey's hotel room and tried to rescue his wife. He said Trey and his guards attacked him and caused serious injuries, including a fractured eye socket. The police investigated, but no criminal charges were brought against Trey. In his motion, Trey said he had no idea about the lawsuit until he heard about the default judgment in the media. Good because exists to set aside the default judgment because Tyrell did not properly effectuate service of process of the summons and complaint on Trey pursuant to Nevada or California law. Trey did not know about this lawsuit until a few days ago, on November 27, 2024, upon which he promptly engaged counsel and filed this motion. His lawyer continued, Trey did not know about this lawsuit, blah, 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 blah. The singer's lawyer continued, Trey promptly engaged civil defense counsel over the Thanksgiving holiday and filed this motion to set aside the default judgment the next week. Now, this should be interesting because when you go to the court case, there has to be somebody who serves you. There has to be a signature. Somebody got this. By the time it got to the judge believed that Trey just brushed it off. Similar to The Game, who just didn't show up in court. And he's been having, I think, like a $7 million judgment from where he allegedly assaulted some girl who was on his I Want to Date the Game, you know, because I'm not even going to go there. We'll be talking about The Game in a video. Hopefully I'll be doing it tomorrow. And the video title I think the title will be How Diddy Got in Bed with Every Rapper from 1990 to 2025. Hopefully that one can drop tomorrow. But basically Trey feels like he'll be financially ruined if this $11 million judgment goes forward. Y'all can tell me if y'all are still listening to Trey Songz. The last Trey Songz song that I liked was Black Roses, and I think that was around 2010. And at the time, Trey Songz was a bigger artist than Drake. How things have changed. Oh, yeah, definitely hit the like button. Y'all, I'm back. I'm going to have to work extra hard since I have just come back after 2 weeks. YouTube punishes people. So we got over 3,500 in the chat, but we only have like 1,000 likes. So definitely hit that like button. Let's get into Jay-Z and Diddy. Basically, Jay-Z has decided that Busby's interviews and the interview of the 13-year-old alleged victim are grounds for a dismissal. We're just going to kind of glaze over these court documents. He submitted 64 pages, and most of it is about interviews that have been done by Busby and this recent interview by Jane Doe. All of these exhibits. NBC News report, where the reporters conducted while the anonymous plaintiff in this case was published on December 13th. Exhibit 2, a true and correct copy of a photograph copyrighted by Coleman Rayner. I don't really care about a picture of Jay-Z at Lotus nightclub in 2000. Exhibit 3, screenshots, timestamps of MTV Music Awards. Again, nobody cares. Exhibit 4, MTV Music Awards, timestamps, video footage. Jay-Z was at the award show. I mean, okay, we get it. They told you to stop fighting this out in the court of public opinion, and you're submitting 64 pages of bullshit to the court. But let me kind of glaze over this. Jay-Z, accuser, comes forward to NBC News. Okay. We know about the interview. A lot of pictures taken for people who don't know each other. That exhibit 2. Jay-Z looking like, I was about to say DeBrat. Y'all know DeBrat loves a headscarf. He don't look like DeBrat. I'm sorry. I take it back. He don't look. He kind of look like the brat. Do you see this? I'm. So then the transcripts from the interviews, another transcript from a Busby interview. Even before the incident of Sean Combs, we had received a small volume of calls and had screened a handful of cases after the incident of Sean Combs and the announcement that we were pursuing these claims. The floodgates open. People who wouldn't otherwise, for a variety of reasons, are now stepping forward to make their voices heard and to pursue justice. But no, most of these people are scared. They fear backlash in their communities. I have had people, we're going to talk a little bit about Busby. Did you guys know that Busby is part of like a billionaire family? We're going to be talking more about Busby and why he may not be scared of the likes of Jay-Z, Diddy, and Quinn Emanuel. He has a very interesting background himself, but we're going to be getting into that. Exhibit 8, random picture of J-Lo in an ugly dress and Diddy. His mouth was closed though, y'all. That was one of the first things I noticed because y'all know he can usually not close his mouth with his original set of teeth. Then we have, I don't know why this is necessarily important. They're showing the deeds to his residences back then in 99 and 2000, and they were in Manhattan. I don't know why people don't feel like he could have rented out a house and then the house in the Hamptons. Do y'all think that Jay-Z's attorney is just trying to like throw everything out there now that he's kind of been slapped on the wrist by the judge? A picture of Diddy's house, a transcript of video recording the TMZ interview that they did with Busby. More stuff on the Hamptons home, a picture of the Hamptons home. I'm like, what the hell are y'all filing? Then they filed this 30-page defendant Sean Carter's memorandum of law in support of his motion for sanctions, dismissing the complaint pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 11. So we're not going to go through all of this, but here we go. They're basically saying that Busby did not do his due diligence in vetting the young lady. It says, but it appears that Mr. Busby failed to conduct any such inquiry. That a reporter was able to undercut almost all of the events of plaintiff's narrative just 5 days after the FAC was filed only highlights the complete lack of investigation undertaken by her own attorneys. A simple call to her father, a review of publicly available video footage and photos from that night at the after VMAs, or a review of publicly available property records would have quickly revealed the implausibility of her allegations. But Mr. Busby has all but admitted that he declined to undertake such a basic investigation. When confronted by NBC News journalists with the series of allegations in the complaint, Mr. Busby sought to cover for his utter lack of diligence by claiming his client would undergo a polygraph examination, an offer he seems to have abandoned since making it weeks ago. And he passed the buck, stating that another unnamed firm had vetted the allegations that the Busby law firm would continue to vet plaintiff's claims and collect corroborating data to the extent it exists. That is entirely improper. It was Mr. Busby's responsibility to conduct a factual investigation into the allegations before he signed the complaint, not after. And he cannot evade that core ethical responsibility while relying on the work of other attorneys who did not sign the pleadings and are not associated with his firm. Blah, blah, blah. Moreover, Mr. Busby claimed in his statement to the journalist that his firm had interrogated plaintiff intensely. She admitted to the journalist that she had made some mistakes and was guessing about key details. Serious problems with her account that Mr. Busby would have uncovered had his firm actually interrogated the plaintiff. Instead of conducting a thorough investigation, Mr. Busby filed a complaint setting forth one of the most serious allegations of criminal conduct imaginable, with an accompanying publicity campaign on social media and elsewhere based on an uncorroborated claim of assault that relied on easily disprovable factual narrative. Now, Busby has come out and responded, even though this was filed today. Let me see. I had it. I'll paraphrase. Basically, Busby said she was vetted more than 5 times. Somebody that I talked to felt like we should let this play out. It's easy to hear an alleged victim or alleged survivor say things that may not sound normal to us, may seem foggy or hazy or unclear, but it all has to play out. And I kind of sort of agree at this point. If Jay-Z is innocent, take it to trial and demolish. If you are innocent, trying to undercut the case by finding a loophole at this point, it's out there. The story is out there. How do I feel? I'm curious because today I went through a lot of the other cases and I don't see any new cases for Jay-Z. So I feel like those other 3 to 4 alleged minors are dotting their I's and crossing their T's before Busby puts them out, before Busby actually puts these cases out. Also, I haven't seen any new Diddy cases. I went through today. There's nothing new. The feds are actively working on his main case. We'll talk about that a little bit because they're setting dates and times. But outside of that, we have not seen any new Diddy cases since December 2020. And at one point, we were getting 5 to 6 a week. So I'm not sure if the people who are still going to sue him are all just going to open the floodgates right before the statute of limitation runs up. But as of now, it seems like almost all Jay-Z claims and Diddy claims are halted. And I'm still going to be going over and reviewing some of the stuff that have kind of fallen by the wayside, like Jamie Foxx, Vin Diesel. There was a lot of claims, and all of the celebrities are probably thanking God that the Diddy stuff came and overshadowed all of their allegations. I see some people saying it's a money grab, and some people believe the alleged victim. We'll see at this point. But can y'all believe it's been about 1.5 years of Diddy being exposed? By May, when his court case, it will have been a full 1.5 years. Now we're at like 14 months. It started November of 2023, and we are now in January of 2025, and we're still finding new shit out. Let's move on to the Diddy stuff. Basically, I feel like Diddy's attorneys are scrambling. They are wanting the government to release information like their discovery right now. And the government is coming back and saying, hell no, we don't have to do that. The government wants to release the discovery 8 weeks before trial. Diddy is fighting hard to change those dates. Now, I asked an attorney if it was customary to release it 8 weeks before, and the attorney said, yeah, I don't see a problem with that. So why would Diddy feel obligated to have more time to review his than anybody else? It's just this level of ego and narcissism. We have Jay-Z saying to the judge, with no actual grounds, we want this to be handled quickly. I don't think you get to tell judges that. I don't. What pace the judge needs to go because their client is important. Who are these people? Who are these people? So anyway, this was also filed about 5 days ago, and the response was filed today. It's a lot of legal jargon, but basically they're saying we have our timeline and we want to stick with it. And Diddy's people are saying, give me all the information that I want right now. So this is what the judge ordered. So this is kind of like a timeline of what we'll be reviewing in real time. Pretrial motions will go in February 7th. Oppositions March 3rd. Replies March 10th. An enterprise letter February 1st. Now, this enterprise letter, the government was wanting that to be filed later, but they got it for February 1st. The notices, government March 7th, defendant March 14th, rebuttal March 21st. This is what the government wanted. And let me see. Motions in, I don't know how to pronounce that word, and the material March 21st. So basically the government got what they wanted. It is what it is. I don't know. Y'all know I don't really like Diddy. I try to be fair. I don't like him. I'm pretty sure they'll file something else tomorrow. I'll go through some of the court cases and see if there's anything that we need to discuss. But there are so many court cases. This is such a far cry from where we started November of 2023. Going through all this is very, very, very time consuming. You guys, I will see you tomorrow. The video is super interesting because while I had time off, I did think about this, how he was successfully able to groom all of these men. And we're going to discuss how the gay jokes are really just damn near a distraction. Like, I don't really think that people are thinking about how many people did not make it home and have no way of saying Diddy did something to me or I was drugged. And then the other children who may not have made it, like Justin Bieber or the Ushers, but who were violated. So I think you'll find the video really interesting. I will try to get that one out tomorrow, but it's just once you start connecting these dots, it is so crazy how he was able to successfully do this. And it's not all about a gay thing. So anyway, I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm so glad to be back, but I needed this goddamn time off. Before we end, I just want to say, as somebody who is from Louisiana, I was extremely hurt to see the terror attack that happened in Louisiana. Once I woke up and saw it, my heart was broken. Everybody from Louisiana, because I was out of town, that I heard had that New Orleans accent. I talked to them about it. The general consensus was New Orleans is strong, but it was extremely hurtful to see them attacked in that way. And I want to send a shout out to everybody who is going through the fires in LA. I really did not realize it was that bad until I talked to a friend of mine who lived in LA. They say it looks like a post-apocalyptic city. So for everybody losing their homes and having to evacuate, my prayers are out to you guys because I can't even imagine. See, I couldn't do this at the beginning of the show because we did an intro. So, if you know somebody in LA, definitely call and check on them. If you know somebody from New Orleans, definitely call and check on them. And shout out to Lexi and Trinice. Happy belated birthday, ladies. Have a good night.